Solo Sikoa walked into the room expecting to see the indestructible head of the table he'd spent months studying, resisting, and, if we're honest, positioning himself to replace. Instead he saw Roman Reigns as a person, resting under soft hospital light, bruised, monitored, and surrounded by quiet concern. There was no entrance music, no chants, no chessboard of allies and rivals, just a door, a bed, and a choice. The hush didn't weaken the story, it clarified it, turning the noise of ambition into a question with only two honest answers: double down on the climb or step closer to the family that made the climb possible in the first place. A leader seen, not just a champion. The image that shook Solo wasn't about defeat, it was about scale, how one man held a company's imagination for years and still could be reduced, like any of us, to breathing slow and healing on a timetable set by doctors, not storylines. Seeing Roman without the armor made the achievements feel bigger, not smaller, because dominance is impressive but resilience is instructive. Champions win nights, leaders set standards, and from that bed Roman did the thing leaders do best. He made space for others to decide who they want to be when no one is looking. Solo at the doorway. For a long beat, Solo didn't move. The same instincts that usually throw him forward held him still. He wasn't calculating angles or counting crowns, he was weighing costs. Ambition had been a compass, but family is a map, and maps remind you where the edges are. He didn't speak first because the room didn't need more words, it needed alignment. Sometimes leadership is a speech, sometimes it's a nod, and sometimes it's just the choice to sit down, breathe, and say, "We'll do this right." Jay's call across the divide. Jey Uso, healing in his own right, had already started the slow work of reminding people what the bloodline used to sound like before the echo of titles and threats. He'd reached out to Solo not with a script but with memory, shared cars, shared meals, shared faith in work done well. That call wasn't a demand for loyalty so much as an invitation to clarity. The ring is where they settle scores, but the kitchen table is where they set priorities, and Jay's message asked Solo to choose the table first. Jimmy's quiet math. Jimmy didn't come with speeches, he brought steadiness, hands folded, eyes calm, the energy of a veteran who's learned the difference between impulse and intention. He measured the room the way pros do. Is everyone heard? Is the pace right? Are we being careful with people and precise with plans? His role wasn't to declare a direction but to make sure whatever direction they chose could actually hold, day after day, without breaking the people counted on to carry it. Jacob Fatu's edge, re-aimed. Jacob Fatu carries intensity like a forge carries heat, and the room might have expected fire. Instead, he chose focus. There were no slammed doors or dramatic gestures. Only a promise to channel frustration into conditioning, film, and repetition. If the other side wants a response, it will arrive inside the ropes, timed, officiated, and earned. That's what happens when Edge learns discipline. It stops trying to win the hallway and starts preparing to win the bell. The Paul Heyman variable. When stakes climb, Paul Heyman's calendar fills. His best move here is simplicity, not spin, confirming Roman's medical pacing, coordinating schedules so combustible personalities don't collide backstage, and shaping bouts that test readiness without inviting setbacks. This is less about monologues and more about logistics, fewer commas, more periods. It's the work you never see on camera that keeps the work you love on camera safe and sustainable. Seth Rollins and the chessboard. Seth Rollins thrives on redesigning the room, but architecture presumes foundations. The hospital visit quietly told him those foundations are family and boundaries, not shortcuts and stunts. If Seth wants to lead an era, he'll have to beat people at their best, not catch them at their worst, because the other side just announced it's choosing preparation over panic, structure over spectacle, and that is the kind of resistance that turns would-be statements into full-season arcs. What the hospital taught them. Hospitals aren't stages, which is exactly why the moment mattered. Everyone kept voices low, acknowledged staff, followed directions, and left on time. They treated recovery as sacred, not as content. That choice didn't shrink the story, it gave it shape. Fans don't need a camera in the corridor to understand tension when the people inside the story show care for each other's humanity. The lesson was simple: protect real life. And the fictional fight feels bigger, not smaller. Boundaries become the story. The subtext of the visit was a new rule set. No ambushes in off-limits places, no pressure on people clearly in recovery, no gotcha moments outside sanctioned environments. Draw those boundaries and the next confrontation earns weight instead of borrowing it. When rivals finally meet, it should be on a card with a referee and a crowd ready to judge, not in a hallway built for stretchers. Respecting limits doesn't blunt drama, it concentrates it. The choice in Solo's hands. Power struggles get headlines, but quiet decisions redirect legacies. Solo's choice isn't between fame and obscurity, it's between speed and substance. He can try to vault onto a throne built by someone else's years, or he can fortify the house and prove he can run it. One path wins a moment, the other wins the room. Standing beside Roman now doesn't erase Solo's ambition, it matures it, shifting the goal from take over to be ready. If unity wins. A united bloodline doesn't have to mean identical roles, it means aligned values. Heal fully, train honestly, book responsibly, start with controlled minutes in tags and trios, rebuild timing. Gather film on opponents who like to spike tempo, then move into singles that answer specific questions. Can Braun Breaker keep his rhythm when the match slows? Can Bronson Reed maintain discipline when the late rounds arrive? Unity means trusting the plan more than the pop. If ambition wins. If Solo ignores the pull of family and skips straight to a crown chase, the story turns louder and thinner at once, louder because conflict always sells, thinner because corners always cost. Rushed returns, unsanctioned confrontations, and blurred lines would deliver clips and undercut careers. He'd get moments and lose mornings, the early ones in the gym, the ones that actually build a reign. Even a victory won that way would feel borrowed, not built. The first step back, responsible staging. When Roman is cleared, the first step shouldn't be a 30-minute marathon, it should be precision. A six-man that lets the team manage minutes, showcase chemistry, and send a message without sending anyone back to the trainers. Book a finish that advances two threads, not one, and make the post-match simple, a look, a nod, a contract graphic for next week. Pacing is power when health is the headline. A match built on respect. The match to circle isn't the biggest one, it's the cleanest one. No weapons, no run-ins, no excuses. Let the wrestlers tell the truth with holds, counters, breath control, and choices under stress. The accountability promised in that hospital room becomes real only when the bout rewards craft over chaos. Let both sides leave under their own power, with fans talking about execution instead of incident. That's how you turn a moment into a marker. The locker room temperature. People notice what gets rewarded. A 2-minute, low-volume clip where everyone acted like professionals moved the needle more than 10 pyro cues. Rookies learned that restraint sells, veterans remembered that respect protects, and producers gained proof that careful pacing can be compelling. Culture shifts when the quiet choices get loud results, and this one did. The message across the monitors was, work smart, keep spaces safe, and let the bell be the exclamation point. Fans as co-authors. The audience didn't get told what to feel, they were invited to decide. Some saw Solo's pause as the start of a reunion, others as the silence before a storm. That honest split drives better television than any single, shouted narrative. Keep pathways open. Clear stakes, clear boundaries, clear dates, and let people argue in good faith about outcomes. The show breathes better when viewers feel trusted. The Paul Heyman clause. One more note on Heyman because he'll be pivotal. His sentences should get shorter as the matches get bigger. Clarity over flourish, confirmation over coyness. Line up medical updates, align travel so cross-currents don't spark, and broker bouts that make sense for readiness. Let the advocate be the adult in the room, not the accelerant. There's plenty of heat already. Seth's response, if he's smart. If Seth Rollins is serious about architecture, he'll welcome these terms. No shortcuts, sanctioned settings, high standards. Beat the bloodline under those lights and the win means more. Try to win the hallway and the story bleeds into places it shouldn't. A visionary proves it by thriving when the rules are tight and the judges are many. That's how eras are built, not just moments. What Roman said without saying. Roman didn't need a manifesto. When I'm back, I lead. I don't chase, was enough. It set tone for everyone. No countdowns, no vendetta lists, just a standard to meet. the head of the table is a job description more than a crown, and the job is to make sure the room behaves like pros until the bell rings, then fights like artists while it does. Even in rest, he was working. The family picture now. Picture the group in the weeks ahead, Roman rehabbing, Jay speaking softly but decisively, Jimmy balancing the emotional temperature. Jacob logging extra rounds, Solo coordinating calendars and holding lines, Heyman writing fewer, sharper emails. That's not less dramatic than a surprise attack, it's more disciplined, which is how you keep a story hot without burning out the people carrying it. The opposite of exploitation. One reason the hospital scene resonated is because it refused to exploit the setting. No accidental leaks, no raised voices, no pressure on staff. It was consenting adults, in a private space, agreeing on boundaries. When entertainment treats real-world contexts with care, it earns the right to go big where it belongs. The ring feels grander because the hallway stayed human. The first contract on the table. When the time is right, the most powerful visual won't be a beatdown, it'll be a signature. For chairs, one page, one stipulation that prioritizes clean outcomes, a referee whose credibility is a character by itself, a handshake offered or withheld, and cameras that understand less is more. Treat the contract as the story's spine, not just a prop. If "not alone" really means family. Roman hinted he won't return alone. The most honest interpretation is day one's first, Solo, Jimmy, Jay when cleared, Jacob ready. Anything beyond that, nostalgic nods, one-night alliances, should be seasoning, not the meal. Alliances communicate identity, and this identity right now is disciplined, unified, and committed to proving things in the ring. The long game toward a stadium. If this arc bends toward a stadium, War Games, a marquee singles, or both, the discipline now will pay off later. Keep the first Roman breaker face-to-face rare and framed. Let Bronson Reed be tested on composure as much as power. Tighten language on TV as matches get bigger. Make every weekly step feel like a necessary page turn rather than a detour. That's how main events feel inevitable and earned. The promise inside the pause. Recovery looks like stillness, but leadership turns it into motion. By speaking little and choosing carefully, Roman reassured his circle and challenged his rivals. The pause itself became a promise. When the music hits again, there won't be a shortcut, there will be a standard, a match, a result, and a next step. The story won't need swerves if it has spine. Closing frame, blood over thrones. In the end, the hospital visit wasn't a detour from the Bloodline saga, it was the thesis. Power matters, but people matter more. Crowns shine, but boundaries hold. The most dangerous version of this family isn't the one that shouts the loudest, it's the one that chooses patience, protects its own, and saves the storm for the bell. Solo's choice will define the next chapter, but the room already decided the rule set: fierce, not reckless, personal, not harmful. And when Roman Reigns walks back through the curtain, it won't be to clutch a chair. It will be to reassert a principle. The clearest wins are earned under lights, with rules, and with everyone walking out on their own 2 feet.